Good afternoon to everyone. Um, what we have done in our previous session, we have finished with unit number 6, which is multi-threading. And now what we are going to do today is we'll start with the new unit, which is file handling. Right? All the contents and programs, everything is taken from the complete reference by Herbert Shield as well as from Java T Point, which is already mentioned. Okay, what do you mean by file? Very first question to you guys. What do you mean by file? What it is? Yes. Hello. What is file? No one? All are sleeping? Am I audible to you guys? Yes. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So we already know what is IO. IO means input and output. And what is file? File means you wish to write something, you wish to store something permanently on your disk. This is what the file, right? And that is why whatsoever the program output we are getting, that will be disappears once we will just close our screen, right? Just will close our output screen and it will be gone. So what we need to do is, if your output is important one, you wish to store it somewhere, then you are using file handling so that you can store your output at least at somewhere permanently onto the disk, right? That is why we are doing file handling. But before doing this file handling, a very important term that is you can say that is stream. Stream is what? That is my first question. What do you mean by stream? Yes. What do you mean by stream? Stream is what? You haven't heard that input stream and output stream, so you don't know what is stream? Hmm? Collection of data, not exactly. You can write flow of data, then it is fine, right? So here the stream is nothing but a kind of the pipeline, right? From the pipeline, if it is a water pipeline, so you can simply say that here the water is flowing, right? The same way here is the stream. Stream means here data is flowing. Simple, right? Okay. So our next unit is file handling. Very first topic, that what is stream. Java performs here IO to the strings. IO means whatever input we are taking, that is from input stream. Whatever the output we wish to display, that will be from the output stream. So here we are having two different streams, input stream and output stream, right? A stream is an abstraction that either produce or consumes information. Abstraction means you cannot see it. It is just a kind of data hiding. You cannot see it, what is going on through the stream, right? But it is there. That is stream. A stream is linked to a physical device by the Java IO system. Stream is, of course, it is connected with the monitor, it is connected with your keyboard. So whenever you will be having any of the input, then your stream is actually connected to your file as well as to your program and as well as to your IO system. Okay. All the streams behave in the same manner even if the actual physical devices to which they are linked that is different. But it will behave in the same manner, right? Because all are just doing what? They are giving input, they are displaying the output. So here in the stream into the pipeline, data is flowing in a simple terms. So the same IO classes and methods can be applied to any type of device. Okay, we are having number of classes and methods here which we will use. Okay, so this means that an input stream can abstract many different kind of the input. One is from a disk file, one is from the keyboard or from the network socket, because if it is a client server application, so here we are simply getting the data from the server, right? So over there we are using socket programming. Likewise, an output stream may refer to the console, a disk file, or a network connection, right? Wherever you are giving the data. It could be your monitor, right? Because on monitor only we can see our output, which will be displayed. And that is why you are writing system.out something and so on. So strings are a clean way to deal with input output without having every part of your code to understand the difference between a keyboard and a network. Right? For example, here Java implements strings within a class hierarchies that is defined in java.io package. Right? So you can understand why this package is IO. IO means it names itself says that it is related to input and output, right? So all the classes are lying into this IO package, right? So what this is, here is my Java program, right? This is my Java program. Now I'm taking some data source, whatever the source could be, right? Source could be what? Yes, the question is source could be what? From where you are taking the data. Hello, sleeping people.
File.
Hmm. Yes, it could be file, it could be keyboard. Yes, correct, right? So from anywhere you are fetching the data that is known as your source, right? And it will flow through this input stream. It is given to your program that with the use of that data we have manipulated something, we have the manipulations, and finally some useful information we are generating that is known as output, which is flowing through the output stream, that data, and finally it is either displayed or it will be saved to your data destination. What could be your destination? What could be your destination?
File.
It could be a file or or monitor. Yes, of course, because we are seeing the output on the output device, right? So it could be monitor, it could be file, it could be your network, because you are simply sending your data, right? So that is again your data destination. Now here is the object. What object is there? Either it is source, either it is the destination, or both. So you can see this. Here is your disk file. It could be your source, it could be your destination. Why? Because you are reading the data from the file and you are writing the data to the file. So it can be your source even, it could be your destination even. Running program is again the same. Running program, you can take some of the output from that or you can give the input to your running program. So it could be your source even, it could be your destination even. Monitor is what? It is always your destination. From monitor, you are not taking any data, right? From the keyboard, it is always your source because you are writing something. You are not sending anything to keyboard because it is your input device, so it is your source. Internet connection, again it could be both, because if it is a client server application, server is here, client is requesting something, server is giving the response, so it is again both source and the destination. All right. Image scanner, that could be always source because we are providing the data just like your keyboard. And if it would be a printer, then it would be your destination always, right? So you know this term very well. So what is this? Whatever we have discussed, the same thing. This is your source from where you are fetching your data. You are taking your data and you are feeding this data to your application or to your Java program. Once you have given the raw data, it will do some of the processing on it and it will finally generate here the output, which will be displayed or which will be sent to your destination. So what is your source and what is your destination? It could be this three. Yes or no? Here is your console input. This is your console output. This is your file. This is your socket, file, and socket. This could be your source even. This could be your destination even. So this is what you are reading the data from your source. You are feeding this data to the Java application, and finally after processing it will generate some data which will be sent to the destination. This is what we are doing. So any doubt in this? No, hopefully this is very simple terms we are discussing. Right? Good. Then in Java, there are basically two streams. Whatever the stream what we have discussed, right? Here this stream would be of two types in Java. Java 2 that defines two types of streams, byte stream and character stream. Now what byte stream will do? This will provide convenient means for handling input and output of the bytes, your input as well as your output, that will be in the bytes. So these byte streams are used, for example, when reading or writing the binary data. So if it is your binary data or something like this, we are using byte stream. Another stream is the character stream. Here your data is flowing into the terms of character. This provides a convenient mean for handling input output of characters. They use Unicode and therefore it can be internationalized. Unicode is what? Anyone? What is Unicode? This term you are not listening for the first time, right? What is Unicode? Yes. What is Unicode? Oh, first time listening to Unicode. What about the others? Standard of the text. Oh God. When we have learned the data types, at that time I said that here the character is of 2 bytes instead of 1 byte. I hope now you are remembering something. Yes or no? Yes. Now you remember it, right? Unicode we have already discussed that in our Java, it could be Java is supporting so many languages, right? French even, or any other languages like the Arabic and all, right? So you can convert your data into that particular language also, and for that purpose you are having this unique code of 2 bytes, because 1 byte is only for the ASCII, and the another byte, which is extended one, that is for this natural language processing. I mean that whatever the language you are converting, right? That is for that. Fine. So the character strings, they use this Unicode, and therefore it can be internationalized. And also in some cases, the character strings are more efficient than the byte strings. Right? So the original version of Java, that is Java 1.0, that didn't include the character strings, and thus all the IO was the byte oriented. That is why in a very first line we have said that in Java 2, after the version of 2.0, which defines two different types of string, right? In 1.0, it didn't include the character string. Instead of that, it was only single string, which is byte string. So all your data is a byte. Right? Character strings were added by Java 1.1, and the certain byte-oriented classes and methods were deprecated. Okay. This is why older code that doesn't use character strings should be updated to take the advantage of them where it is appropriate. One another point, at lowest level, all the IO is still byte oriented. Huh? Do you understand this? Why they are saying at the lowest level? Because ultimately you are converting your code, whenever you are storing it, you are converting into a machine level language, and machine is understanding only one language, which is binary. That is why, right? That is why they are saying that at the lowest level all the IO is still byte oriented, they are not character oriented. The character-based strings simply provide a convenient and efficient means for handling the characters, right? You don't need to convert every time the ASCII and all, right? Instead of that, you can use characters. Fine. So here, as we have discussed, in Java, file handling we are doing with a lot number of classes. So here you will find only the class hierarchies and all. So very first, your parent class, that is object. Again, at every unit I will say this thing, right? The object class is your parent class, which is by default there, and your any of the class is by default extending this object class, right? Object class is having this four classes: input stream, then output stream, reader, and writer. This input output stream, they are byte oriented strings, and reader writer classes, these two are character oriented string. Okay, so how to write in byte oriented file and into the character oriented? So you have to choose appropriate classes and those classes methods. Simple, right? So please note down somewhere, because this is pure theory and we are having sufficient time to do so. Else we will finish. I mean, you can see the syllabus. We have to discuss this many terms today. Okay, we are almost having this byte stream. We are having this character stream. Then only reader and writer class we will discuss, and then file, and that is the another thing, right? So please note down these terms. Meanwhile, then the hierarchies will get changed. That is why I am saying. Now, the byte stream classes. Byte streams are defined by using the two class hierarchies. At the top, you are having two abstract classes, input stream and output stream. These two classes for the byte oriented streams. But remember that they too are the abstract classes. What it means, what you cannot do with it, what you can do and what you cannot do with it. if they are the extra class? Yes, you cannot create directly the object of this input stream and output stream class. Correct. Right. So each of these extra classes has several concrete subclasses. They are the concrete classes, so you can create the object of those classes that handle the differences between various devices such as disk file, network connection, memory buffers, and according to that, we will be having different classes. Remember, to use the stream classes, you must import java.io package. By default, those classes won't be there in your program. You have to import this package java.io. Right. So here the abstract classes input stream and output stream will define several key methods that the other stream classes implement. So input stream and output stream classes are the abstract class. So here it could have abstract methods, and those methods their child classes compulsorily need to implement, right? So two of the most important methods we can say, that is read and write, which is respectively for reading and writing the bytes of data. So both those methods are declared as abstract inside the input and output stream. They are overridden by your derived stream classes. So which are the derived stream classes? You can see here, and please note down those class names. So here you can see, this is my abstract input stream class. So that input stream class is having so many concrete child classes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And after this filter input stream, again there are two child, buffer input stream and data input stream. So here I am having almost this 5 classes like byte array input stream, filter input stream, then piped input stream, object input stream, and file input stream. File input stream generally we are using more, right? And this filter input stream means what? Filter is, see, filter is not removing any data from the source, but it is just doing a filter, no? Right? It is just doing a filter because you want a particular kind of data. So those particular data only you will have. It is filtered by buffer and by the data. Right? So we will see each and every class one by one. Don't worry. And here is for output stream. For output stream also you are having 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 classes. And from this filter output stream, they are having buffered, data, and print stream. One another class has been added here, which was not here. This is for output stream. This was for input stream. Please make a note on this class. Please just write down the class names. Because here we are having only the theories, and if I'll go with the same speed, we will finish around 30 slides, right? So at least you can make some notes. Fine. Then we are having character string classes. So the character streams are defined using two class hierarchies. At the top, there are two abstract classes, reader and writer. Do you remember this reader and writer? These two classes, reader and writer. They are also the abstract classes. Huh? So these abstract classes handle Unicode character streams. Java has several concrete subclasses of each of this. So again, they are the concrete ones. So you can create the object of those classes. The abstract class reader and writer define several key methods that the other stream classes need to implement. The same things, same. And the two most important methods, again, here also you are having read and write only. So which read and write the character of data. Previously, that read and write is for reading and writing bytes. Here, reading and writing characters. These methods are overridden by derived stream classes, right? So this method, read and write, will be there in your each and every class in your previous hierarchy also. And here you are having read method, and here you are having the write method, right? So this class output stream is having write method, which compulsorily need to override by this stream classes, output stream classes. Okay. Now this is your character stream reader class, which is for reading the data. So reader class is your abstract class, and so many classes are here. So many methods will be here. I mean, we will not discuss each and every class. Only the important classes we will have. Otherwise, I mean, you will be having for each and every class 5 to 6 methods, and at the last you will forget everything. Right? So we'll see some main methods and all. So here in reader, you are having the character array reader, buffer reader, string reader, input stream reader. From this input stream reader, another child file reader. Here is the pipe reader and filter reader, which is again the abstract one. Is again the abstract one. So filter reader class will be having some methods which you need to implement into your class. You need to give the definition, you need to override those methods into your class. Same with the writer here. It is again the abstract one. So you are having character array writer, buffer writer, string writer, pipe writer, output stream writer, file writer. Filter writer is again abstract one here, and the print writer. So we'll use this print writer, file writer, which classes, because by each and every class, if we'll see two programs, then also, I mean, you will forget everything then. So we'll see that. Okay. Then you are having predefined strings. What are the predefined strings that you already know? Yes, predefined strings. Okay, before that, please write down those classes names for the character string. And meanwhile, you can answer in chat what is predefined string. command line arguments is, yes, system.out and system.in. This is the string. Yes. So here the system class that contains three predefined string variables. As I said, no, system.out, system.in, this we will discuss again into the file handling. So this is what I said, right? So we are discussing about the system class. The system class contains three predefined string variables, in, out, and the error. These fields are declared as public and static within the system. Within the system class, they are the variables which are the public static variables, in, out, and this error. This means that they can be used by any other part of your program and without reference to a specific system object. Okay. So here these are the static, and that is why only with this in and out you are putting the class name, right? So they are your static variables. So system dot in, system dot out, that is why you are writing like this, right? Because they are the static one. So here system.out, that refers to a standard output stream. By default, this is the console, right? System.out. Whenever you are writing system.out and then with the use of any method, whatever you are writing, that will be sent to your output screen, which is your console output, which is monitor. Right, same way system.in, that is refers to standard inputs, and here the standard input is what? That is your keyboard by default. So it will take the input from there. That is why with the scanner class we are using this system.in, right? Same way system.error, that refers to standard error string, which also be the console by default. However, the strings may be redirected to any compatible IO devices. You can even write with this, with the use of this, to your file also, right? So that is not your console input or output, but still you can. Okay, so it is redirected to any compatible IO device. So system.in is an object type of input string. So you can say it is a kind of reference, right? System.in is, and system.out and system.err, they are the object of print string, because error is also displayed on the monitor, and whatever you are writing, that is also displayed on the monitor. Okay, so system.out and system.err, they are the object of print string class. These are the byte streams, even though they typically are used to read and write the characters from and to the console, though they are the byte streams, right? So system.out and system.err are used in the same way, and system.in is a little more complicated, because here you are taking the data, you are fetching the data, it would be first in a string, then you are converting into your desired input, right? So according to that, it is somehow complicated. Otherwise, in system.out, you don't have to apply your logic. You are simply printing it. So that's it, right? So what we are going to do next, I'll show you the programs. So what we are doing first is, you see the first example. Here I'm using file output stream class, um, file output stream. So I'm specific that how to Actually, this is for your next lecture, but I'm showing you some of the things so you will have the interest. Right? So here, public class file output stream example. Inside that public static void main, I'm trying for this line, so I'll write everything inside that that file output stream. I'm creating object of this class, that is fout, equals to new file output stream, because you already know that these are the classes. If they are the classes, you are creating object of those classes. If you are creating the object of the class, automatically constructor will be called, and for this here you can write directly your file name, right? And I'm writing something with the use of this object, that here fout.write, and I'm writing something, then I'm closing it, then I'm writing it as successful, and if there would be any kind of exception, then it will print that exception, right? So let's check for this. Right, so it is successful, so we will check into that particular drive, and we have given this, right? So it has written this output onto my file, yes or no? I've given it over there, that is 65, but this file output stream that has stored character, okay? You will see more classes, right? Again, you will see more classes once we will have that file. But here we have used this byte stream class, file output stream class, right? Because I wish to write something. I don't want to read anything, right? I wish to write something which will flow in the terms of bytes. Okay? So is this clear? Yes or no? Fine. Okay. Then we'll see another example. Okay. Yes. Again, I've used the same class, which is file output stream, right? What I'm doing inside this try, I'm creating one of the object. I've given the same file name. I'm writing something, I mean string s. I've taken one of the variable and I've written this. So this program is taken from this Java T point, which I already mentioned at the starting of our lecture only, right? So what it will do is, here we have taken one byte array. Byte array equals to s dot get bytes. Do you remember this method, get bytes, get chars? Same way you are having this get bytes, which will convert the string into byte array. Okay, so it will be having a single later, right? And then what I'm doing is fout dot write b. Right, b is nothing but actually the array of byte. Then I'm closing the stream, and then I'm writing success. If once there will be success, then and only then I'll get to know that okay, my file is successfully written. Okay, so we'll run this program. Okay, so Go to G drive. Fine. So this is what they've written. Here it will automatically overwrite this file, right? It will overwrite it. So any doubt in this? Yes, f out means file output object. It is not like the f out. You can write anything, no? Here, this is what I'm creating object. I can even write here obj1. That is my choice. You can write here obj1 dot write. That is just the object name, which is of your choice. So is it clear? Kirtan? Yes. Fine. So that's all for today. I mean, we have finished this topic, right? We will start with the file class, file input stream, file output stream, and then we will discuss few more programs here. Actually, we have finished this also. I mean, right? We have seen the program of the next lecture, but it's fine because we have seen what are the different streams: byte stream, character stream, reader writer class, methods, that we will see, that we will do one by one. Okay, and we will see this file reader class, writer class, buffered reader class, then data stream. That example also I will show you. Data input stream, output stream, buffer input stream, buffer output stream, right? But there are so many classes. So few classes we will see, and next time we will see what is file class, because file class is having few methods with it. So that we will discuss. Then some of the programs directly we'll see the program, yeah? Because no theory afterwards. This was only the part of theory. Okay, fine. So we are having sufficient time. If you have any question, you can ask me. Else we'll finish this. Okay, so you are having sufficient time, and I have given you one task in the previous lecture that you need to write one program of deadlock and inter-process thread, inter-thread communication. Sorry, fine. So please do that stuff. Once you will share your screen, then only you may leave, right? Whether you are searching from net, that is not my issue. You just need to explain me what they are saying, how deadlock has been created. Do one only, okay? Just one. That is for the deadlock. So do that stuff. Chalo. Is it done? Have you seen that program? Deadlock program. So meanwhile, you can write down your enrollment numbers but in sequence. If you are not writing numbers in sequence, I'm not giving you the attendance, right? Number 1, 2, 4, 5, 6,